chip shots around the green can be a real source of anxiety for many of my students, partially because, you know what, you don't get perfect lies, do you? You get bare lies, you get scabby lies, you get really deep, rough lies, and golf asks you to get it out of that lie up onto the green and stop him pretty damn quickly near a flag. Now the problem is a lot of my students struggle with this. They struggle with understanding how to get solid contact every single time, and they really struggle to control their flight and get enough backspin. In this video, I want to share with you a 4-shot system that one of my personal mentors, Graeme Walker, shared with me a couple of years ago. It's been transformative for my own game. Graeme coaches Tommy Fleetwood, one of the best short game players in the world. I'd love for you to learn the exact same system I'm using because it's really helping many of my students become, first of all, more consistent with their strike from every single lie. But more importantly, once they've got their strike, they're now able to control the trajectory and the spin. And it's making a massive difference from everywhere around the green, not just from the perfect lies. Before I get into the video, look, if you're new to the channel, it's one of your first lessons of mine, please consider subscribing. At least videos just like this one every single week to try and help you improve your game. Plus, you never have to remember a thing. Everything we do here, I'll put into a free downloadable practice guide in the description box below. So this 4-shot system is absolutely brilliant. What it does for my students is it gives them something that if they ever lose their chipping, they can go to shot 1, develop their coordination and strike, and then can gradually move to shot 2, 3, and 4 as they gradually develop all their shots around the green. It's so good. So let's start with shot number 1. So shot number 1, the purpose of this shot is the most basic chip shot, but the real purpose of this is to develop a coordination between the club, hands, and body. A lot of the times when people are struggling with their chip shots, their head, their body's moving all over the place, the body moves like this. I mean, there's a variety of things, right, going on. So the stage 1 is to get the club, the hands, and the body working together. Now, you'll notice here 2 things I'm doing at setup. The ball position is just ahead of center, look, just here. Now, what I'm doing is my aim here is to strike the ground this time with the base of the golf club right here. We're not striking with the leading edge, we're not striking the back edge, we're striking with the base of the club. And this first shot is what Graeme calls putt with loft. So all you're doing in theory is you're taking your putting stance, I'm just raising the handle just a little bit here, letting my arms hang down here. Now, I'm making a stroke and I'm really just feeling, I'm putting, I'm feeling the base of the club striking the ground. It is as simple as that, or is it? I get my students to do this to start with, and because it's chipping, there's 2 things that tends to happen. When people start to make a stroke, because it's loft, they start to move their bodies slightly backwards here, shifting the low point behind the golf ball, and they start to kind of almost trying to help it up in the air. The feeling that most of them say they get when they do this is almost like here, the lead shoulder is going down. This is how ultimately, look, my body's working with the club head. I am not taking the club away with my hands, I'm taking it away, look, my body. This shoulder's rocking back here. I'm now staying there as I'm coming back down to the golf ball, and then look, I pick it up on the way through. No stage look as am I turning off or leaning backwards, all right? So just be aware of that. So nice and simple, get yourself set, and we're just gonna try to coordinate 1, 2, 3. Coordinate the body and just putt with loft. And I'm really feeling here the base of that club just bruising the ground. Just like that, okay? So nice and simple. You'll notice there's no wrists in that at all. Everything's just working together. It's just putting with loft. So before we move on to shot number 2, I missed a really important ingredient, and that is you need to change your grip when you're chipping. And it is really important. So when you set up here, unlike normally I would grip the golf club with my hands over here, so the thumb sits just to the right of center. With chipping, I don't want that at all. I want the thumb sit right on top of the grip like this, just as it would do for putting. Now my students love this because what it does is it gives them, that thumb now, gives them an indication of where the club face is. Now a lot of problems with chipping come when people roll the club inside like this. Well, when that thumb does that, you're gonna feel this. Here, look, I know that face is square, I know it's square at impact, and I know it's square on the way through. So I use that lead hand here as a real guide for that club face. My trail hand is ultimately just my throwing hand, which we're gonna come into in a second. So with that now put into the system, let's move on to shot number 2. So shot number 2, we have a lot of green to work with here, which is great. So, but we want the ball, therefore, not to come out slowly, we want it to come out a little bit faster, and we want to maybe check up on the green. To do that, we use Hinge and Hold, which is a great favourite of Phil Mickelson. So we put the ball back in our stance here, and we put the shaft in line with our lead armpit. Now what we're doing here is we're using now a different part of the golf club. The aim now is to feel like the front section of this golf club right there, the front leading edge section, is going to strike the ball, then the ground, okay, afterwards. And this will produce like that hotter flight, hopefully with a little bit of backspin. So everything else remains the same. Now notice here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hinge my wrist just a little bit here. So we're still, look, this is putting with Loft. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of hinge now, and I'm now going to hold that hinge. So I'm holding the Loft on that ball, so it's slightly de-lofted. It's going to strike down on the golf ball and produce a hotter flight. But notice how we're layering the skills here. We're still putting with Loft so that the arms, the club, and the body are working together, but now we're adding a little bit of hinge, and we're going to hold that. So it looks something like this. And watch this now release. A lot hotter and up to the flag, a little bit kind of to the right, right? But much, much hotter flight. Got a lot more roll with that. Now again, remember what we said with step one. Be sure to stay in your posture here. Don't lean back. Don't start to move. Look after that posture all the way. Just putting with Loft now with just a little bit of hinge in there and holding, all right? Let's move on to shot number 3. So shot number 3, you can see here, this is a very tricky shot. I mean, rough ground, I've got to get the ball up, landing on the green. Now the green's a slight downslope, so I've got to have the ball landing very softly. The first 2 shots won't work for this one. I need the ball up a little bit higher and landing very, very quietly on the green. Now to do that, the third shot, Graeme likes to call the fish's tail. It's one of his favorites. It's become one of my favorites. And this time we've used the middle, we've used the front edge. Now we're going to use the back section of this golf club. And to do that, what we do is we push now the ball opposite our lead heel. We put the club down and we point the club now towards our heart. We take the grip with the thumb straight down. And now you've learned the feeling of the body being coordinated. You've learned now the hinge here on the way back. And now what we're going to do, we're going to let that club hinge on the way through. So it now becomes, look, a fish's tail. Now, notice the way my wrists are working. They're not rolling, and this is really, really important. They are working back and through, almost like I'm throwing the ball like this. Now, some of my students prefer the feeling in their right hand, some prefer it in the lead hand. Now from here, look, all I'm doing is I'm hinging on the way back, coming back here, and then I'm letting the hinge come through naturally on the way through. So I'm picking it up with my body on the way through. When people start adding Loft, this is when I generally see the leaning back. So the sensation for a lot of my students is still the sensation you're still hitting, look, downwards on that golf ball. That lead shoulder is going down. I'm coming down on the golf ball here, and I'm letting the hinge happen and then coming through. What I'm not doing is leaning back to create it. Does that make sense? So let's have a look at this one in action. Tricky shot, this one. Get myself set, feel that motion, get a rhythm with this. I might just have practice here, get the back of that club, feel that back of the club, just bruising on the ground. Once I've got that sensation here, go to the golf ball, don't waste too much time. And watch this one, just lands much, much softer. You see us on a downslope, but that pops the ball up beautifully there. And all I'm doing is literally letting that club hinge back on the way through here. And that's it. Super, super simple. It's lovely rhythmical one, that one. But remember, it's so easy, and I've guilty of this myself many, many times, falling back. I see my students do it. I do it as well now and then. Start to fall behind the golf ball. Let's move on now to shot number 4. So shot number 4 is the lob shot or the parachute shot. It's a shot, if you can learn to play this, your mates are going to absolutely be in awe of you. So ultimately it's a shot that goes super, super high, lands on the green really, really softly. Now we've used 3 parts of the club so far. In the lob shot here, we're going to use right at the far back edge of the golf club. Now to do that, remember you've built some confidence in the first 3 shots. The final shot now is ultimately get that ball now opposite the instep of your lead foot. Now we said we want to add loft, so I'm going to slightly wider stance now with this shot. I'm going to open the club face just a little bit, lower the handle a little bit here, then grip, put that thumb down the bottom of that grip. Now all these things I've done, I've added loft to the shot, right? Immediately at setup. Now all I'm going to do in the swing is I'm going to start to feel loft being added right at the start of the swing here. So you'll notice here, the butt end of my golf club is remaining pretty stable at this stage. This is me adding loft to the golf club. Most people, when they learn this for the first time, trying to add loft by rolling the club in here. When you do that, the club gets too far behind you, you start to fat it, thin it, you name it. We want to make sure that that club is working upwards here. Up, and then as I'm coming down, I'm allowing the club just to swing look down to the golf ball here, underneath my body here, and fully commit to this shot. Really, really important. So let's have a look at this in action. It's a fully committed shot. Distance control comes once you've learned to strike, but it's a fully committed shot here. Let's have a look at this. One, pops it up there. That's pretty good, right? So that's what we call the parachute shot, really landing softly. Now you can imagine when people play this shot for the first time, because it's height, they're thinking height, they always start to lean back. They might start, I'm coming down, but right at the last minute, whoa, they start to lean back. You must trust, hold this, I call it this lead side in place here. I'm coming down to the golf ball here. It's the wrists that are working, and then my body then comes through the shot. It's a real committed shot, but you've already learned some of those skills in shots 1, 2, and 3. So I really hope you enjoyed this system. It gives my students something secure to always fall back on. And I want to have a big shout out to Graeme Walker, wonderful guy based at the Oaks Club in York, who gave me this and coached obviously Tommy Fleetwood. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, there's a free practice plan in the description box below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with a friend. And look, if you're looking to improve other parts of your short game, click this video right here. But until next week, have a wonderful golfing week.